Oh, hey there, and welcome to the Ope-Eh Three-Way Pro Wrestling podcast on this episode 81. We're about 2 weeks out from Mania, and we are feeling kind of manic. Look at this guy over here with his fresh new Danhausen merchhausen. Pierce, how you feeling about it?
I have merchhausen. And the beerhausen.
Yeah, it's a little...
not drink beer, I don't believe.
A little naked threesomehausen from our friends over at Raised Grainhausen in Waukeshahausen.
What I'm doing, I suppose,
Yeah.
It's a day, but we're here.
It's a Wednesday.
Dynasty. We're talking some bracket. We're going to be talking with somebody. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, unfortunately. I guess we'll see you down the road, Big Ben.
Yeah. I mean, Big Ben's got a big schedule and, things in life change. And you know what? We roll with the punches,
Yeah, we do.
We just see about it. I still got the shirt. Flexing the merch. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, AEW Dynasty is this weekend. We got this next round of the Mania bracket. And other than that, there's not much going on. I mean, WrestleMania is next week. The cards have been fully announced. I do hope that Io and Asuka do make the card. I don't know if you heard this. They're possibly not announcing it until they know if Nikki Bella is fully cleared.
I had read that.
Then the Kabuki Warriors will be in the tag team match, which means last year's two champions going into Mania who won their matches will not be on the card, which is a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, that's kind of
At that point, hit the fucking button. Do Julia and fucking Io.
Yeah, well, Julia Io would be really soon this year. I agree. Julia absolutely should be on the Mania card. God knows how the fuck the U.S. title for the women, the inaugural mid-card title for the women, stays off of every single PLE since its inception.
Hasn't been on a single one, which is a fucking joke.
It's crazy. And I mean, Julia, and I've said this too, like, it's crazy to think that when you look at how she's compared to Stephanie Vaquer coming in, right? And how she was compared to even Tekla when they were in Bella Mafia together back in Stardom, like, those two women that kind of were coupled or like associated with Julia, and Julia came in with a lot of heat. She's had a lot of heat around her. They both went on to become world champions and like pretty prominent ones at that. And then there's Julia. Like, how do we not make this work? I don't understand.
I think partially she needed to cook a little more in NXT. I think they brought her up a little fat. And then number two, they haven't really let Julia be fucking Julia. Let her you have to let her have a Julia match and show why she's so good. She's had a couple of very good matches, but nothing that's like, oh shit, this girl is for real. And I mean, what are you gonna do? That is what it is.
Right.
But before we get into Manias and Dynasty, we're gonna talk about the past for a minute. It's a small one.
Just a minute.
But
you think you know me?
Just a minute.
We'll also be talking about that man in just a moment. 2013 Raw after Mania. Alberto Del Rio would defeat Jack Swagger, and he'd be in the corner. or Alberto Del douchebag, especially after what came out this week. Jesus Christ. Can't do it.
Yeah, Alberto Del Jailbird. Brother.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to...
Oh, yeah?
Dolph Ziggler
Come on.
Would finally cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase.
That was a good one.
Alberto Del Rio to win the World Heavyweight Championship in one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in my life.
It was terrific. Yeah. For the time, like, I think people were just clamoring for Dolph to win gold. Like, it's like he's been saying forever, like, he's been that damn good for a while. And
oh my guys.
And like against Alberto Del Rio, like, and it was great because they actually pretty much had another match as a result of that cash in. Like, it wasn't like, a lot of them where you snap your fingers and it's done. Like, Del Rio was beat up. Yeah, Del Rio was beat up, and like Dolph took it to him, but like they actually made something of it, and it made Dolph's win feel that much more like a reward.
And then they fumbled the follow up and took the belt off.
Yeah, they did.
but
Yes, they did.
not this podcast. That's for those people saying that Vince McMahon needs to come back. No, he doesn't.
Oh,
2014, 3 days after his Hall of Fame induction, and a day after he basically read his own eulogy, the Ultimate Warrior would pass away.
that was surreal. I was shocked reading that headline.
It was like the promo he had on Raw was like he was reading his own eulogy. It was fucking ghastly, and
yeah.
Dude finally comes back home, and he puts all his demons to bed, and then just dies. So it's unfortunate. Rest in peace, the Ultimate Warrior.
Do they still have the Warrior Award that they give out at the Hall of Fame? I'm trying to recall.
That pisses me off too. Like the people who got it, I understand why they got it, but that's not what the Ultimate Warrior wanted that award for. He wanted it for the unsung heroes in the back for the Jimmy Mirandas. That's who he brought out. He said he wants something like that for the WWE, and they just the only person that ever got it that was like that was Tim White. And
well, and even consider the guys they've given homage to who had passed away over the last couple of months, right? Like these are guys who, similarly to what the Warrior Award was trying to achieve, like it's recognition given to these guys who have been just in the back area, who everyone's got a story about, who everyone's got a connection to, who made the show work, but you never hear or see about them on TV. Like, they don't have spotlight credits.
The Warrior Award should go to Stu. Like that's what that's what Warrior wanted, but it didn't matter. That's not what Vince wanted. He wanted to put people who, did something nice and could get him some good publicity points in, which is, I don't want to go too far, and I'm not trying to make a stink out of it, because of course Connor the Crusher and Eric LeGrand, these people, of course they deserve some recognition, but like making the award great, but doing it that way, not what Warrior wanted. And then 2018 Mania 34, Ronda Rousey would debut and win her match where she teamed with Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, maybe the greatest debut match of all time. We have Asuka somehow losing to Charlotte, which still pisses me off. AJ Styles beats Nakamura, and then Nakamura would turn heel, which still pisses me off. And then by and large, and I don't think this is a hot take, the worst Roman and Brock match those two ever had.
The less I think of it, the better. Brock was on a spree during that time of and I was watching it. I can't remember who the creator was, but like they're talking of all these moments in matches against big guys like Cena and Roman and Randy, where he was just gashing these fools, like open the hard way.
This was the year he beat Goldberg with one F5. People were like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." And then he beat Samoa Joe with one, and then he beat Braun Strowman, and then he beat only one F5. And then him and Roman have this match, and it's supposed to be this big pop that he kicked out of the F5, and nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. And he kicked out of 6 of them. Like nobody cared.
Yeah, you're supposed to show.
But I guess that's a good segue for the next round of the Mania bracket. So let me pull that up.
Hey, been working on a little IT project here. Got everything all looking nice and neat. Y'all can visualize, see what I'm talking about, and not just have to follow along with my soothing voice. It does need a little bit of work. It looks kind of, thrown together. But you know what? Life is lifing right now, and I do what I can, damn it. But look at this. We were talking last week with Big John Crowley about these WrestleManias, specifically WrestleMania 17 and WrestleMania 18, going one-on-one. We put it to you, the people, to decide, to help us decide. And pretty handily, the winner is WrestleMania X7. Boom.
It was almost guaranteed. Not that 18 is not a bad Mania. It's a fairly good one, but it's just not that one.
Yeah, it'll
be very tough if for 17 to lose a round.
Yeah, I would be pretty shocked, even considering who it's going up against in here, which by the look of it, if I did count the polls correctly, and I remember what we went over, because who did we say won last week? Was it 19 or 20 between
we
us?
all voted for 19.
We all voted
Despite
for
how
19.
good 20 is, 20 does have a very, very dark shadow over it.
It does.
Talking about Brock Goldberg.
No, from what I recall, it was another close one. But factoring in our vote, 19. Moving on. Boom. Look at that. It just all fills in all nice and neat. So then we got our matchups for the next round. But still going on, WrestleMania 40 versus 38. I mean, how do you think
40?
compare?
As much as I love the Jackass match.
Yeah. Well, it's not all one match, Pierce. We got to figure this all kind of holistically, So WrestleMania 40
didn't go forward. These were one match cards. 25 would win handily.
Yes, agreed. WrestleMania 40 was not a one match card, though. There were several memorable moments, several memorable matches over 2 nights. A little bit of bias. But ultimately, WrestleMania 40 went.
It was like watching Avengers Endgame for the first time again.
When you have multiple organizations and multiple YouTube pages and social media accounts saying that was the greatest last 5 minutes, maybe some people even say 10, but the last 5 minutes of a match ever,
I'd argue,
or even of an event,
because you get this really good start between Roman and Cody, and then 10 minutes in, Jimmy comes out, and then Jay comes out, and they have a better match than they did the night before, and then Solo comes out, and they do the thing that they did to beat Cody the year before, and Cody kicks out. And then the 5 minutes after that, untouchable.
Yeah, that's where the dam opens up. And open it did. It didn't really trickle over into this next event here they were about to compare to WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 41. We were there at that one, too.
You were there at that one. Donnie was there at 39. Miss you, Donnie. I think he's on his... I want to say he might be at his bachelor party this week. So
lucky. Wish I had a bachelor party.
I think he's in Vegas.
I'm just a bachelor.
So
speaking of Vegas, there you go, Don.
It was either this week or last week. We'll have to ask him, but because he is a real person to go in, Wells.
Yes.
I would say that I'd be shocked if 41 won.
It did not win, as a matter of fact. Look at that. WrestleMania 39. Boom. All right. So within this round here, within this section, when we get to Elite 8, I believe we got.
So the
Elite 8. The Elite.
I
like how there's so many. I like how there's so many wrestling puns we can make out of this, right? So we got the 2 Sweet 16. Stop. We got the Elite 8 we're building up to. But we still got to get rid of this.
Of WrestleMania.
The 4 Horsemanias. We still got to take care of this 2 Sweet 16.
And then you can do for the final 2, the irresistible force versus the immovable object. That works out. And speaking of that, so between these manias, it's tough, but off the back of that main event for 5 is great because it's the first true long-term storytelling that the WWF at the time ever did. But going on that, and then you get this highly rehearsed, perfect match between Savage and Steamboat. Got to go 3.
You got to go to 3 there. Yeah, I mean 3 3's held records. 3 set the stage in so many ways. The cream always rises to the top, right? So you have a lot of these work rate guys that have persisted over generations, literally, of wrestling based off of the work that guys like, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage had done. And it really was ahead of its time. It was tucked in there. And how could it be anything when compared to Hogan and Andre, right? That being said, Hogan and Andre did set the table very bigly. So I would have to say in our case.
Don't put the winner forward just yet. We got to hear from the people.
Oh no, I know.
I saw
I'm
that.
putting it to the people.
Saw that cursor go
I was
over.
tempted. I know. No, kidding. All right, enough pictures.
What's the next one?
I'll agree with you on 3, though. I like 3. Next one, WrestleMania 8. Wells' first WrestleMania. First WrestleMania 6.
Even with the inclusion of the Kyle Wells, 6 pretty handily wins.
Yeah, I mean, certainly more iconic.
Angle that is botched. The main event of Mania is an angle. And the only other time it's like that is Mania 27. And that's categorically one of the top 3 worst Manias.
True. Should we extend an invitation to Wells so that he can input on this? I'm sure he would love to before WrestleMania 8.
Yeah, we'll see if he's available on the 29th.
Yeah, I'll see about it.
You're available. Need you to bring it back on. You also need to go back on sometime too.
Yeah, Wells on the hotline. But, out of the 2, I'm very partial to 6. Largely because I feel like this was, granted, now Sid, this guy right here, was like one of my first big men that I ever saw where I was just totally in awe. And it's like, I love wrestling now because these dudes are huge and they beat each other up.
Aura personified.
But
Sid
Warrior
gives Sid a lot of shit that he doesn't deserve. And
no.
Sid is like the aura that Sid has is up there with the Hogans, with like Kevin Nash and in the Wolfpack, like Cody Rhodes right now, even though dude, it seems like anytime that somebody that you aren't a fan of or are a fan of does something that you don't like, you turn on them on a dime.
Wait, you talking about me?
Yes, you.
Wait, who did I turn on?
You turned on Cody. You have been on the hate Cody train. Big time. Well, it is as bad as your hate Jey Uso train from last year because you were.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me give that a little bit of thought. You know what? Okay, so my current Cody hate is valid. I will say this, and it's not so much Cody himself.
There's hyperbole there, man.
It's the bookie. That's fair, and my emotions do sometimes get a little.
Cody, I think it's on TKO right now. That's a whole nother discussion.
Oh yeah,
TKO's
it is
and putting their fingers in there because.
Hey, you want to talk about that? You want to crack that can open this episode?
Okay, first of all, people are like saying this is the worst Mania buildup of all time. It's not, and it's not even fucking close. I will say Pat did not need to be added into this story because it's one of the easiest stories they could have had to write.
Yes.
But TKO wanted Pat in there. I'm not going to argue because Pat also brings a lot of mainstream eyeballs because even if you dislike Pat, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. Like, and people are like,
you saw the numbers.
Too many celebs in WrestleMania. So WrestleMania is literally built off the back of celebrity involvement. And now the celebrity involvement is fucking fans of professional wrestling, not people that have nothing to do with professional wrestling. Like,
right.
You have Pat, who is a known, loved WWE, grew up on it. You have Jelly Roll, loves WWE, grew up on it. You have I Show Speed, loves WWE, grew up on it. You have Logan Paul, loves WWE, grew up on it. Like, Lil Yachty, loves WWE, grew up on it.
Loves WWE.
Like, you're telling me fucking Liberace was a wrestling fan? No.
Well, and I mean, it's hard, it's apples to oranges, right? I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like, comparing 1 to 42 is a little bit much, though. I mean, I feel like in this day and age, like, wrestling is such a generational mainstay. It's such a general staple that, like, you're bound to have people who, it's not like back in the day when, like, people are like, WrestleMania, what's that? Oh, that's Vince McMahon. Who's that?
I'm just
right?
saying, you cannot act like celebrities have not been a part. There have been celebrities in every single iteration of WrestleMania, including the one that was held during the pandemic.
Yeah.
If you can name me a Mania that did not have a celeb involvement, and by celebrity, I'm being kind of loose with the term because you look at WrestleMania 2, like Mr. T, you have William the Refrigerator Perry and a bunch of other NFL guys in that battle royal. Like, WrestleMania 3 had WrestleMania 4 had Bob Uecker. I think WrestleMania 3 did have some sort of celebrity, but like, name me a WrestleMania that doesn't.
I gotta think of who 3 had. But no, you're right. I mean, huh?
Uecker could have been at 3 too.
I mean, yeah, absolutely could have. I mean, it was closer to his home base, but yeah, I've got nothing against celebrity usage. It's just about like the way that they're used. And I think a lot of people, especially with the way that Pat was kind of just shoehorned in there when so many of us had so much speculation, it's kind of like with like the Fatal 4-Way that we are posing weeks and weeks ago, right? Like, it's like, it makes perfect sense, all things considered, the way the story went. Even after I got over the Fatal 4-Way not being a potential, I got warmed to the idea of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton just on their own in a feature match, 20 years of history. And then we're bringing up family lineages and history and like the whole shit with Ted. And I'm like, ooh, this is intriguing. And
Aretha
then
she was at WrestleMania 3.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because she did America the Beautiful, right?
So, yeah, it's like, I get it. Pat's maybe an unwanted person in there, which is
it's just a bad swerve. It's a bad swerve.
Is it underwhelming? Sure. Is it a bad thing? Maybe, but I think it's going to be fine because let's not forget 2020 NXT. You know who was one of the best wrestlers on the brand? Heel Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about his NXT tenure, but yeah, him and Adam Cole.
It was fucking great. So, and I guess they're having people shoot on TKO right now, which I don't know if I believe that, but like, I know it's a dumb thing to say. Trust the process. Trust Triple H's booking. This is
lower the ticket prices.
Yeah, and lower the ticket prices. Yeah, that of course too. If we go to the next one, which I think is the next bracket, you want to know what you want to know what is the worst Mania build of all time? Mania 31.
Paid off though.
Yeah, it paid off in such an amazing. This is a top 3. It could be the best Mania of all time. Like damn near could be.
Wow, there's a shoot.
I
mean, it's very good.
I fucking love this Mania because my expectations for this show where you can't even see the damn hand. They're
on the floor.
And then Daniel Bryan was the Intercontinental Championship. Hell yeah. And then you have the greatest RKO of all time. Hell yeah.
Yep.
You have John Cena beating Rusev, which is like, whatever. But then Rusev comes out doing a tank. And then John Cena, then after the fact, if you factor in the booking after the U.S. Open Challenge, hell yeah. The Rock and Ronda Rousey have a moment. The Undertaker returns. The Andre is whatever. Sting's WWE debut. Really, really fun. Wrong winner.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. And then the main event, which the final shot going into Mania is them having a tug of war over the title when there's supposed to be two badasses. And they just have a tug of war for no reason. And it just
what happened when the cameras went off? Who do you think won? Do you think just both kind of just were like 1, 2, 3?
I kind of assume it was that one. And you just have these two guys beat the shit out of each other. And I know Donnie, there's Tractor, but this is their best pure match together. And I'd honestly say it's even better than the Tractor one.
Pure grass.
Then you have this moment. Roman hits the spear, 1-2 kick out, and then another F5. They're both on the ground. And then Seth comes out, cashes in the best cash in of all time. And then it wasn't plan B, it was probably plan C. But that's the I'd say that's the greatest Mania ending of all time, maybe besides 40.
Yeah. And you would have guessed it too, because Seth Rollins had a pretty good amount of hype. Like, he was the first NXT champion. Like, I think there's already a lot of expectation placed on him, but I don't think anyone, casual or otherwise, would have expected a guy like Seth Rollins to come in and steal that from Brock and Roman. Because Brock and Roman were like both, even when you compare Brock to Roman at that time, it was hard to say like exactly who was going to go over, because there's a lot of push behind Roman.
Everything was pointing to Roman to win, but nope.
Brock is Brock, though. You never know.
Well, at the time, Brock was leaving, his contract was up, and then on the Wednesday before Mania, he went on ESPN SportsCenter and was like, I'm done with the UFC. signed another contract with WWE.
Mm.
So then
So for sure it was going to be Brock.
As for Mania 28, you get the end of an era. You get Rock, Cena, you get Jericho and Punk.
In a lifetime.
But and they lied to us. And off that alone, I'm pretty much saying 31 goes ahead. But like,
dude, that Hell in a Cell was a beast, though.
It's the most story heavy Hell in a Cell match of all time.
Yeah. Well, would you say it's more story heavy than Drew and Punk? I mean, I guess based on longevity, you got three
this
old
is
dudes.
The thing. The Punk and Drew story was a year. This story was 4 years in the making. Leading.
Oh, even more than that. I mean, if you want to be ultra technical, 4 from the start of them later interactions, but
I'm talking Mania 25 to Mania 28 is a 4-match story.
Yes, that's true.
Which starts with Shawn and Taker having the best match of all time. And Shawn putting up his career. And then Triple H is like, I can do what my friend couldn't, even though he's never been able to do what Shawn does. And then barely loses at 27. And then 28, you bring back Shawn as the referee. And they just have this beautiful match where Undertaker shows you may have gotten close, but you can't do it. He couldn't. You can't.
I mean, they kind of hogged the Undertaker for those 4 years too, and people were critical of Taker, maybe not having as big a matches as he could have. I wonder, and granted, now 25 and 26 didn't deserve those matches, right? With him and Shawn, but it just makes you think of how many other people he could have probably faced in that time, and maybe that's a speculative what if episode for the future. But who else could have Taker faced in some of these lackluster years where it's
the only person that would have made sense would have been John Cena. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that would have been a great time to get him too. That would have been.
But in my mind, 31 clears pretty easily.
I agree, and I was looking. This is the first Mania I was actually looking on blowing a wad to cash to get to, and it didn't fall through because I couldn't afford Florida. But man, that would have been once in a lifetime,
If only that was true.
Yeah, if only they stuck to their word. Look at this though, WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 24. These are both pretty good WrestleManias. I thought I really liked this one, WrestleMania 30. The end of the streak, the Yes Movement, Hogan, Austin, Rock. The Shield. Cesaro actually winning something.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very good. 24, this is probably the toughest one on this side of the bracket. 24 has Undertaker Edge. You got I'm Sorry, I Love You. You got Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather in the first great celebrity match. Which, again, celebrity. Just pointing out. CM Punk wins his first Money in the Bank. You get Randy Orton somehow winning the triple threat, but I don't think it holds it's very close. But I gotta go 30.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, the whole thing with Flair at the time, I was really built on that one. That was the highlight of the whole show for me. Taker Edge was very good. It was very good. It's one of Taker's better streak matches. But yeah, 30 for me. I mean, again, the decennial WrestleManias tend to be pretty memorable. Yeah, 10, 20, 30, 40, all top notch Manias. Some more than others, but 30 I think superseded 20 in a lot of ways. If you want to compare the decennials, wasn't as good as 40, but it definitely improved on certain things, and we can talk about it a lot more than we can 20. So, yeah, WrestleMania 30.
We will push it to you, the people, to tell us who moves forward. There could be some surprises. I don't think there's been many just yet, but We will see what happens. But this, I believe it's this Sunday. It's a Sunday. Dynasty will take place from the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Right now, there are 8 matches announced for the card, or 7 matches announced for the card. I'm sure there will be more announced because that's what AEW does. In the pre-show, Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. I think it's pretty obvious that Shafir should win, but every match that we've said that she should win, she hasn't. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with Alex Windsor.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting too because you got the Brawling Birds and Windsor and Jamie Hayter, and they're putting them in pretty significant singles roles at the same time, which fine, right? Like they're both certainly warranted. Jamie's very good. Alex is, carving her niche out. Against Marina Shafir, though, in this one, I feel like I want to go with Marina in this one because, I mean, she's riding her own wave of momentum, and I feel like a win over Alex would be big for her, especially when we're talking about, the AEW women's title picture, which, I mean, Marina, again, I feel like has been steadily creeping up towards contendership in that regard. Now with Toni Storm out too, I feel like now more than ever, there's validation for finally just giving Marina the straight up. So I have to think Marina in this. I think they pulled the plug, or not the plug, the trigger. They pulled the trigger on Marina. So,
and in the next match, let's talk about the match shows now today. Kyle Fletcher is going to be out for a few months due to several injuries. So the TNT Championship is currently vacant. So they're holding a Casino Gauntlet match. I mean, that sucks for Kyle, but I think Dude has also earned a break because he's just been putting on banger after banger after banger. And he's
an overachiever.
Put that title back into relevance. That being said, I think Tommaso Ciampa probably gets it back. They could go with a baby face. They could go with now his name isn't Wesley anymore. I can't think of it.
Desmond Xavier.
Could go with Desmond Xavier. But I think it's probably going to be Ciampa.
Yeah, I initially was thinking maybe that would have been a good spot for what's his nuts, Jack Perry, but he's clearly the national champion now. So I wouldn't be mad if a guy like Leo Rush won it as a Blackheart, because he's kind of morphing into this new, and he's getting a lot of attention. A lot of his shit is kooky, but it's viral
into Blackheart. So
it's interesting too because it's like people are drawing comparisons between him and Finn. But in my opinion, Leo does a lot more from what I've seen to really like lean into the character. I mean, Finn had his moments too. He had at takeovers, like he would do like the Jack the Ripper get up, and he would do,
we're gonna see the Demon again at Mania. So
they didn't withhold that from us. Hey, it worked for Nintendo, right? Those sales, we need to boost them. Better show up Fox McCloud.
That movie is going to make $1 billion regardless.
It is, yeah, and it's going to be rated the top movie of this, of the spring or the summer, regardless, right? But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Leo Rush. Leo Rush, in spite of all of his controversy and in spite of his inconsistencies and certain things, he's a very, very good performer in the ring.
He's a very good.
He's very good, and I'm digging where this character work is starting to go. It's only going to ramp as things go along. I feel like Leo he'd be a good, solid contender if he's in the. I don't know if they've announced like participants at all.
The only one that they've announced, I think, is Tommaso. Well, it's Tommaso and somebody else are having a match to determine who comes out number one. Which usually in a gauntlet match is kind of a shitty place, but because the Casino Gauntlet can end at any moment because it's only one pinfall to win. Number one is usually a pretty good spot. So I'm going with Tommaso.
That's fair. It's solid. It makes sense logically. I mean, he only had a day as champ before, right? Or like a couple days. So
2 weeks, I think. A week.
Oh, was it? I thought it was shorter than that. But in any case, it was a very short reign for Tommaso Ciampa in any context. So, yeah, he could certainly run with it if they want to kind of wheel it on back to him. I would also like to see something kind of coupling along with Leo in this like growth that he's on right now too, because they also have that knack where they customize the TNT title. So I'd be curious to see what like his custom title would look like.
They do a lot of custom titles, don't they?
For the TNT title, yes. Yeah, it's like almost every other guy who's held it since its inception has had either the strap changed or the plates changed or both. So it's a lot of merch if people are into collecting all the TNT belts. Like, hey, that's money for AEW to make.
In the next match, FTR. This could main event. I don't think it will.
No.
FTR with Stokely versus Cope and Cage for the World Championship or World Tag Championship. I don't think we have to go too far into this. I think Cope and Cage are winning it here.
Oh, you think this is where they take it?
It's in Canada.
That's true. If they don't, I'd be very surprised. Because then if they make it all the way to All In.
This is my point. This is my thought process. They win it here. Like I said, I don't want to go too far into this because this should
right.
Where we're like, yeah, this team is winning. They win it. They defended it Double or Nothing against the Bucks. FTR then attacks them both, and then you do triple threat TLC at All In.
I mean, that stands to reason. But then you got to wonder, like, who's taking the belts. Like, I don't want to see anybody win that match except for Cage and Cope. So then, but I don't know if I see them having a long title reign. But we can talk about that.
The team and TLC matches. So
to this point,
they'll still be champs.
Yeah, but they're like 50 now. You know what I mean? 50 years old.
Yeah.
I'll take you on this. I do see Cope and Cage winning the tag titles at Dynasty, and I think it's going to be a very emotional moment because this is like one of the last things that I think Edge really wanted, Cope really wanted to do. He's his last run in.
Again, you don't have to call him Cope.
Oh, okay. Well, there's Cope and Cage. I had kind of ran with it, but yeah, I'll gladly call him Adam Copeland.
So,
oh yeah, he's not just Cage; he's Christian Cage. So yeah, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
For the Continental Championship, Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay. I think because this match can't go longer than 20 minutes, it leans more towards Moxley because once it gets into that 20 minutes, you see Will Ospreay get that New Japan kick out at one strength, that's just
yeah.
That's that's just the New Japan selling. That's just what it is. That's how they like to tell their stories. I'm not going to shame them for it. I'm sure this will be a fucking great match. Moxley with this Continental Championship has been on one hell of a run, and Will Ospreay is fucking Will Ospreay. So.
Yeah, he's back to doing Will Ospreay. Maybe not all the Will Ospreay things, but we'll see how much Will Ospreay he busts out at Dynasty. I feel like hopefully the Canadians don't mark him into early retirement. Gas him up to do some craziness, and because against Mox too, like I feel like a guy like Mox is crazy in his own right, so you gotta figure Mox is gonna try to match it to some capacity,
right?
But just the hope is, especially since it's his first match back,
it's and like first, also it's third.
Yeah, my bad. Well, first PLE back, I believe, pay-per-view,
and people were like shaming him for having a competitive match against Blake Christian. It's like, yeah, if he just squashed him, it wouldn't do anything for Christian. And like he just came back from an injury. Let him have a 10-minute match and get the dust off. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like they don't have history. Like they're very familiar with one another too. So I'm sure that Blake would have been a good guy to work Will, knock the rust off.
People just fucking.
I just like Blake Christian.
I don't know. Just don't get wrestling, I think. Could he have squashed him in a minute? Sure, but would that have gone with the story? Probably not. He just came back from neck surgery. Why would he just win in a minute?
Right.
That's also
and you don't. Yeah, you don't want these guys coming off as like unbeatable juggernauts coming in, because then when they lose for the first time, then it's just like, and I don't know. I just like Blake Christian. However, I don't deny that he has value in his work rate. His look is abysmal. He can't help that. He's vanilla baby.
I think that would just be you. I think he's generally fine.
Well, fine, sure. It's not. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about Christian, but it's just like, yeah, like we'll see if the Continental Championship does anything for him. I feel like it should just be fucking merged into either the TNT or the National Championship.
I think they should just take away the belt and have the Continental Championship be their G1. Give them
award them with like just it's the trophy that signifies that they are the guy that's going to challenge for the belt at their biggest event.
Make it their G1 or their New Japan Cup. It's really not that hard.
Nope, there doesn't need to be a title.
Andrade El Idolo versus Darby Allin. If Darby Allin wins, he will get a future world title match. And off that alone, Darby is going to win, and that's your match for Double or Nothing. We'll talk about who he's going to face in a little bit here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too because Andrade is really like
he's
on some next level. He's on some next level shit. This is the Andrade that I always wanted to see for years. Like this is the NXT. This is the Andrade that should have carried over from NXT and should have been world title contender.
There's a reason it didn't get into.
Did it start with Was it this one?
Because
start with the B word.
That person did not like that these people got wildly over in developmental. So he brought him up to the main roster. He's like, I'm going to take everything good away from you and just make you a shell of what you were.
Just let me put a mask on you, pal. Like, okay. But yeah, no, La Sombra was king shit in CMLL. And it's crazy the de-evolution that he faced when he came over to the main roster WWE. Like, even NXT, I feel like he could have done more, at least with his character. His in-ring was sublime. He had didn't Johnny Gargano actually pay homage to the match that he had with Andrade not that long ago? Or am I mistaken? There was something about he said something about like the best match. Somebody said something about the best match Johnny Gargano ever had in NXT or in his career. And I think it alluded to the one he had with Andrade. It was like a Philadelphia Skyline or something like that.
Match since Cena Punk that got 5 stars from Uncle Davey.
So it would have to be that one. I think it's because he had the Philadelphia Skyline or something like that on his gear when he faced Miles Bourne. And that's the NXT Philadelphia, I think it was his Andrade match, no?
TakeOver Philadelphia 2018.
Yeah, yep. Bingo. So, yeah, Andrade's going to probably lose because...
But it's not going... I mean, he's going against Darby. It's going to bang.
It's going to bang. Like, it banged with Bandito, too. I just don't want it to be a thing where, like, Andrade in this phase gets all the banger matches only to lose. I want him to win. I want him to. I don't just want to win. I want him to fucking win. I want belts on that man, like he should have had with the Ring of Honor title.
He's above that title.
No.
So is Bandito for that matter. But
no.
Tekla will defend her AEW Women's World Championship against Jamie Hayter. Kind of came out of nowhere, but I guess they've been feuding a bit. But yeah, it's Tekla's time. She's probably not losing that belt till All In.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't think. I have no idea who she faces. Probably Mercedes Moné now that she's got no belts.
Yep, Mercedes no belts.
Although I would not like her to win the Owen 2 years in a row.
No.
I think the Owen should probably go to somebody like a Harley Cameron or a Mina.
Mm-hmm. I'd say more Mina than Harley. I mean, Harley, I feel like is more TBS tier at this point. Makes sense.
Harley to win everything.
Harley. Oh, I mean, brother, you saw the gas that MGF gave her, right? When I said MGF, I meant MJF.
She's the best.
He says like, yeah, he's like one of the only people. She's one of the only people in the company that he'll be like, yeah, no, she's on the level. Like she's got everything that MJF has but like she's female, right? Like it's like she's the female MJF in terms of like all around capability, in terms of the mic, in terms of like the improvement she's made in ring, right? She's not MJF tier in ring necessarily, but that's not to say she can't get there.
She's just started wrestling 4 years ago, and she's like head and shoulders above where most people should be.
Yeah. So she's got everything it takes to be a top star, if not the top star in that company within the next like couple of years. That being said, like, I mean, I don't see Tekla losing this. It's going to be a very, very good match. It's Jamie Hayter. But Tekla is, when you talk about people on other levels, Tekla, I am not ashamed to say, like, I've been watching a ton of Tekla over the last, like, couple weeks. Like, she is so ungodly good. And there's this dude, I can't remember his name, but I was, like, on the internet space who's, like, really disagreeing with me on, like, he's saying, like, well, Tekla is just, like, garbage compared to, like, you know, your Athenas and, like, your Britt Bakers and all that. I'm like, how? Like, she's got, she is the whole package.
I like Britt Baker. The reason Britt Baker is not back is because it seems like it's kind of like Ronda Rousey in UFC. The division outgrew her in a sense. I think Britt would do better in WWE right now.
I agree.
Is stuck in the ROH vortex for whatever reason.
She wants to be the forever champ. She wants to be their San Martino. I'm like, okay.
I don't know why you'd want to be that, but sure.
Whatever.
Yeah, Tekla is head and shoulders on top of that division right now. And it sucks we're not going to get her versus Toni Storm.
That would be a headliner anywhere. That would be such a great character-driven match. That would be such a great in-ring brutality.
Toxic Spider fucking belted up. And in what I expect to be the main event, you're just talking about gods. The god of pro wrestling is having a match against the devil himself. MJF, Kenny Omega, AEW World Championship. Even though it's too early to take the belt off Max, they could do it here. Especially if they wanted Will to win the Owen. Because they ran MJF, Max. Well, I guess it's been 2 years now, so I guess they could run that back. But like, it's been like 4 years since they did MJ and Kenny and fucking Will.
Yeah, yeah, because it was Forbidden Door, was it not? That was their last match.
Forbidden Door, like 2022, and
it was 22,
and 2022 or 2023, one of the two. And Donnie was in house, and I'm really mad that he was and I wasn't. But like, this is going to be the match of probably the month. Like, I don't think anything on Mania can touch it unless they do the right thing and have Oba beat Brock. But we'll talk about that next week.
Yes, we will.
And this is a very tough match to call. But because I think they kind of did babyface versus babyface at all in 2023. Yeah, they did. Adam Cole and MJF were both babyfaces at the time, even though MJF
they were
bag as it. And they kind of did it with Danielson and Swerve, even though Swerve worked heel that match. I don't think you can have pure babyface versus pure babyface. Especially with Will going into Wembley, he needs a villain. And there is no villain better, besides maybe Gunther, on the planet than MJF. So off of that and looking into the future, I got to go with the devil killing the god.
Well, and right. And it's one of those things, too, where, I mean, I could see it in either case, where it's effectively like Kenny passing the torch, right? If he's not passing it to MJF, then he's passing it to Will. That being said, I feel like the young guns in AEW are too hot not to feature. That's not to speak anything ill of Kenny.
It's funny. Kenny is MJF a young gun in AEW, even though he's been there since day one, but he's still only 29.
He just turned 30 not that long ago.
Like, it's fucking crazy.
Right.
He is at a level in professional wrestling at his age that very, very, very few get to ever.
And honest too. Like in retrospect, I didn't think MJF. I figured MJF would be great. I didn't think he would be as great as he is now. I didn't think he'd be such a complete package. I didn't think I'd be sitting here from the day I watched him roast Bret Hart on that one of the first episodes of Dynamite. I'm like, I didn't think I would see him put on like a 60+ minute clinic with Bryan Danielson and it being called the greatest Iron Man match of all time. I didn't expect that from MJF.
There's nothing that compares to it.
Well, you're right. I mean, there was comparison, but like it's kind of apples to oranges in a way because like it's, Brock was doing Brock shit and he was kind of healing it up too.
It's so different though, and it's an Iron Man match that works really well, but it's also a TV Iron Man match, so it's got breaks that you don't see.
Right.
I'm sure it's just rest holds, so those guys can catch their breath. Which, no, well, honestly, they probably don't need to catch their breath. Those two fucking wrestle for 4 hours, and they'd probably be fine. But, like, MJF and Danielson go at it for an hour and, like, 15 minutes with a 1-minute break when the fucking draw happens, and then they just get back into it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can... It is untouchable in that fucking stipulation.
Mm-hmm. So remind me, when was the last time that Will and MJF faced each other at All In? Was that 24 or 23?
Maybe 24 because that's when Will won back the international championship when MJF was the American champion.
Right. Okay, so I'm thinking because I was drawing parallels, and we could talk more about this a little next week too. But we talk about Mello Trick and like Mello being off the card right now for Mania. In my mind, that could have been like people who were like, well, we don't want to blow our load on that rivalry too early. It's like, brother, that's WrestleMania 15. That's Austin Rock 15.
That's your Brett and Sean, where you can take people away from each other, but then they'll circle back to each other at some point.
Mm-hmm. So
like, it's a revolving door. It's your Cena Edge. It's your, I guess, Cena Orton, even though those two never fucking were that great a rival.
They never had a one-on-one at Mania either, which is interesting.
No, which Cena Edge didn't either, but like it's your...
Yeah.
But like biggest show of the year, the only one, it's your Cody Roman. Like there's not many that really compare, but if we're talking where it's like two guys that you put together, you get quality, you can break them apart, and then you bring them back together, it's still going to be quality.
Yep. And they're guys who define a generation of wrestlers too, quite frankly. I feel Mello Trick is that for WWE. In this context, I feel like All In 24 was WrestleMania 15 when it was Austin and Rock for the Intercontinental title.
Mr. Bishop just sent me an email.
Oh,
and he said he asked if we're still around to record. So I'm going to tell him and have him hop in, and then we'll talk with him.
I mean, oh fuck.
Actually, I'll tell him to hop in. Hell
yeah. Oh, this is a surprise. This is a first in the Ope-Eh 3-way.
Well, he said he had this scheduled for 8 p.m., possibly 9 p.m. So if he's available and he wants to hop in right now, that's completely fine.
I mean, fuck, bring it around town. But I'm going to say that it's Will MJF 24 was their WrestleMania 15. This year is their 17. There's not going to be any heel shenanigans. There's not going to be some wackadoo shit. I hope it's not like Will showing up with Tony at the stage or in the ring, pissing off the Brits. But I think that it's going to be one of those where it's like, this is going to be a big. Did I say big?
How big are we talking? Are we talking like 6'12", quarter of a metric
ton? A metric ton?
15%.
Goddamn goes again.
You were close. 15%.
There's the guy.
15%.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, fellas. The calendar got messed up. I apologize. My bad.
No, dude, it's fine.
Big Ben.
Okay. All right. Cool. No, I appreciate you guys understanding. Thank you.
No,
Fucking well, you're a busy man, brother. Too. Like,
no, not that busy. Not busy enough to miss something. So I pride myself on punctuality. So that's why I wanted to.
Oh, right on, brother.
Sincerely.
No, that works out. We just finished our Dynasty predictions. We got through it. We're doing our Ope-Eh Pandamania for the greatest manias, and now we're going to talk with you about WrestleMania and WrestleMania week, because you got a couple of matches coming up, brother.
I do. Some may say, besides anything going on at GCW, some may say the most talked about match, honestly, an indie match going on at Mania week, for good and for bad, I guess. The people seem to love and hate that me and Matt Riddle are wrestling at CCW on Wednesday. But I can't wait. I'll say it. This is going to be my fourth time wrestling Matt. Matt's one hell of a wrestler. He's amazing inside the ring. It's gonna be fun. I love CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. They always do right by me, give me great opponents. A lot of guys and gals there are trained by Gangrel. Awesome place in Florida. So it's always a pleasure to go down there. And I'm so happy that they're running in Vegas. And speaking of Gangrel, before the match with Riddle, I'm also wrestling Gangrel and Zach.
Yeah, I had that written
down.
You're with Kurt Stallion.
Me and Kurt Stallion.
Versus Gangrel and Zach Clayton. So is Wrestle It
banging and banging
then?
What's that? Wrestle It is Thursday. Wrestle It's Thursday. So that's my other booking on Thursday night. That's more of just kind of like a party atmosphere. So it'd be good to hang out with a few of the boys there. That'd be a good time. And then I got WrestleCon on Thursday and Friday. So
absolutely, WrestleCon's a good time too.
WrestleCon's gonna be a good time. I always say it's what we try to do is find a way to make money without taking bumps. So that's what you want. That's what you want to
work smarter.
I'm working smarter on getting Cal Hero on soon, and I've talked to Cal about you, and he always has good things to say. And he's like,
"Cal's great."
He was talking. We went to a Great Lakes show a couple weeks ago, and my buddy Cody joined us. And he had never been to a wrestling show in his adult. He went as like a young kid, but he doesn't really remember it. First show he's been to in a long time.
Yeah.
And I told him what the ring was, and he's like, "No, it's like it's foam. It's going to be cushy." I was like, "No, it's not.
No, it's not." Yeah. No,
and
it's
Cal's
not.
like, "Dude, I swear that pad gets thinner every week."
It does. And Cal's been doing it for a long time now, wrestling every single week at OVW. Cal's great, man. I think I think I've seen him since he started. I mean, I think we kind of started around the same time too. Really, he's much younger than me, but yeah, he's obviously it's always been in his wrestling's always been kind of part of his life, obviously with his dad, Dave.
Right.
Also a really nice guy, and I love seeing them whenever I can at different shows. Just recently at Squared Circle Expo. And he turned on Al Snow. So Cal's kind of heelish now.
He turned on Al Snow.
What?
So that was
who would do that?
Yeah, I know. I could never see Cal as a heel, so let's see a different side of Cal coming out. It's gonna be cool to see.
That'll be real.
Well, he's totally Uncle Al too. Like Al Snow's not. How do you turn on Al Snow?
I don't know.
That's Uncle. That's Unc, man.
He is. Al is Unc, man. Al's a.
I don't want to get hit with a head.
No, dude. Al is a cool dude in his own right, man. Al's always been super, super nice and cool to me. Every time I see him. So I hope all's going well down there. OVW, GLCW, really good people. So.
Absolutely. So with all this, like, I think it's a lot of stupid hate, and I know the IWC and your best friend Tribal Keith might have some thoughts on it.
Tribal Keith, he always has thoughts.
I've met Matt Riddle. He is a super cool dude. I mean, it goes without saying he's a very chill dude, but like,
it's not a gimmick.
I think a lot of people are just hating to hate, and I just find that so fucking stupid.
It is, man. And this is what I'll say. I'm not going to tell anybody how to feel about somebody. I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm not going to disparage anybody that had an experience either meeting Matt or with Matt or whatever. I just know from my own experience. I've been on the road with Matt. I've been in public spaces with Matt. I've been in locker rooms with Matt. We've driven hours together in the car to shows. Matt has been nothing but super respectful to me and everybody that I've come across. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a name or you're just a fan or anybody. I've never seen him be rude or like disrespectful to anybody in even in any locker room, any fan, anybody. So I mean, so that's why I just kind of like, I understand, you know, he has a history. A lot of it's he said, she said. You know, there's a lot of there was allegations that came out, but you know, again, allegations, right? Like it's something that there's two sides to every story, and I'm not disparaging anybody. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. I'm just saying, hey, this is the guy I see today, present day, guy who's never went to jail. Never, you know, wasn't investigated, wasn't doing. I am going to make my own judgments based on my own experience with the guy. So, like I said, you know, I've seen him. I've been to his house. I've seen him around his family. He's great with his family. His current girlfriend, Misha, she's a sweetheart in her own right. So, I don't get it. And everybody, like you said, everybody that's met Matt has said similar things in like the last few years. He's just a very chill, cool guy, and I'm excited. You know, again, like that's all well and good. You know, I gotta hate him on April 15th, but you know, before that, and
Brandon,
after five,
you're gonna hit him on April 20th. Say you ain't gonna hit him on April 20th. I know that. So
that's that's the high holy day with Matt Riddle. Yeah, you know, so that's what it is. You know, people are always gonna have a problem. And the individual that brought the stuff up, I don't hate this person. I told them straight up in comments, like, I don't hate you. I wish you well. I understand you have frustrations and you're warranted because you're an adult human being as well. So I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. I'm just going to say this is my experience. This is also my life. If there was ever if anything ever happened where I think it was wrong to take this match, or it went against my own ethical, like my own ethics, I wouldn't do it. But it's nothing. I've never seen anything that has caused me to say, like, no, I'm not going to work with Matt Riddle. I would work with Matt Riddle any day of the week. So it's just something that, you know, people like to complain. People like to talk. I've become myself, guys like me, Jack Vaughn, we've become easy targets. You know,
Jack Vaughn,
you know, a ton of people who just worked with Matt, and they had a hell of a match at Squared Circle Expo. It was awesome. I tell anybody to go watch that match. It was really, really good. And even Matt came to the back and said, wow, Jack's awesome. He's really good. Now, I knew that, but I'm happy that Jack got to work with Matt, and they had a really like stellar, awesome match. But yeah, so it's, you know, it's just, it is what it is. If you have a problem, don't watch, don't follow, don't interact with them, you know?
Yeah, they can click the unfollow button. Like you are your own person. Like it doesn't, if somebody does something that like pisses you off, that's like somebody yelling at you from your window. You can close the window and walk away. Like that's
what I'm saying. That individual never followed me. So, you know, the whole thing about like, this is why I stopped following people. Like I stopped following Ben Bishop. You never followed me in the first place. There was never there was always, the only time I ever heard from that person was always giving me shit for working with certain people or working at certain organizations or working. So it's just like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Like if you don't like me, then just don't. And I said that, like, hey, we're never going to agree. We're never going to like each other. Let's just not interact. Let's not talk. I don't hate you. I have no ill will. I feel indifferent, and I don't want to interact.
That's the way you
cost nothing. Cost nothing.
Exactly. So that's that. I'm excited. I'm excited for the match. I'm excited to be in Vegas for WrestleMania week. It's gonna be an awesome week. Get to see some awesome people. So it's
we unfortunately will not be joining you this weekend. But
bummer.
We will have beers again. That will happen.
I hope so. I love coming to Wisconsin. So hopefully
we did get kicked out pretty quick when we had that interview.
Yeah, I know. It was quick. I know. Wisconsin. That was a great night, man, in Milwaukee.
It was. Yeah.
Hope they can run Lakefront again. That was a cool
for
sure
too, because. Speaking of Lakefront and what happened that night, you beat Matt Cardona that night, and now Matt Cardona back in WWE as Matt Cardona and not Zack Ryder, which I think was a shock to everybody that he came back his own name. He was just on Cody's podcast, Cody Rhodes, WWE champion, brought you and Richard Holiday up, saying you two are the top 2 on the independents. You've probably been asked this more than enough times over the past 2 weeks, but like, what did that mean to you, and what was that when you first found out? What was your feeling? Like, what does it mean now?
So I was actually in Chicago. I had a show the night before where I wrestled Big Vito, which was pretty cool because I've always been a WCW mark.
Did he have the dress, or was this?
No. He's very like mob boss Vito now. So he wore like a shirt and tie and slacks. So it was fun. We had a fun little match. You know, it was really cool in this awesome spot in Chicago. It was for a company called Wrestle League, and it was like connected with a big like Jewel Osco, which I guess is this big grocer in
that's a grocery store in like the lower.
Yeah. I never heard of it.
Big in Chicago.
Yeah, so they had this big event. It was like they had sponsors, and each of us were sponsored by like different. Like Hillshire Farms was kind of my sponsor.
Nice.
So I came out on a tractor with
Go Meat
sausage links. Yeah, exactly. I had overalls on. It was fun. I called myself the new Sausage King of Chicago. Shout out Abe Froman. But yeah, no. Back to I was in the airport, and I just got a DM from just a buddy on Twitter, and just, hey, you know, Cardona just shouted you out on Cody's podcast, and I was thinking, it's like, you know, Cody might have said like something like, you know, what have the indies been like? And he might have just been like quickly like, yeah, you know, there's a couple of guys that I've worked with, you know, could have just like rattled off some names. So that's what I thought it was, just something quick. But when I listened to it, you know, it was like, you know, a good like 5 minutes talking about it.
They went over you guys.
Yeah. And he just said, you know, perfect WWE superstars. That I think these guys are great. I think what they do is awesome. And it meant the world, man, because I really do I have the utmost respect for Matt. I really like Matt. You know, I have been following. I mean, I've really been a huge fan of Matt since like, you know, the late 2000s, early 2010s, especially when he came out with Z Long Island Story.
Just so like, this would not be happening right now without that.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, man. I mean, he really was like a pioneer and a trailblazer for social media, because WWE wasn't utilizing it. And I think without him, they wouldn't have utilized it as much. They started utilizing like, you know, well, they tried to do tout, which never took off, but they ended up, you know, they started utilizing Twitter, and they started utilizing Instagram, and things started like picking up on the social media side. And really the first one to take advantage of that was Matt Cardona. And, you know, when I started kind of getting into content, you know, he was in the middle of his indie run when 2023. I was kind of just trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. And like, cause I didn't know like how else to get my name out there. And I thought that me just kind of being, like oblivious at the time, just thinking like, well, I'm a 7-foot guy, and everyone keeps telling me, you know, oh, you know, Vince will love you, this, that, and the other. And I thought I was a kind of golden ticket, right? It just so happens that's not the case anymore. So it's not 1995. So I started making like the content, and Matt was a big inspiration for that. And so, you know, I've learned through the years, like Matt just doesn't put people over that like aren't working hard. He's not just gonna, you know, blow smoke up anybody's ass. He's not gonna do any of that stuff. So when he said that to Cody, you know, he's put me over on Twitter, and he's always, you know, retweeted my stuff. And of course he said it on his own podcast. You know, he's like, you know, Ben was great. I didn't know he could wrestle. I thought he would suck. I thought he said it right straight from his mouth. I thought that was funny. Myers said the same thing. Mark Sterling, who I wrestled as Bob Furio, not as Ben Bishop. So we had a different type of match, but we had a blast too. So I wrestled all those guys in the Major Figures podcast. But you know, they all just agreed. They're like, I don't get it. I don't get why he's not signed. And then for Matt to actually, you know, say it on Cody's podcast, the fact that me and Holiday were the two top of mind. And, you know, to talk about Holiday, I think the world of Richard. I think he is the best on the indies, bar none.
Very talented. Very talented.
Exactly. And there it is, the signature move, right? And we have, you know, over the last few years have become, you know, really, really good friends. And, you know, we both agree that we kind of, you know, challenge each other, and we better each other by, you know, putting out content and, you know, making sure each other doesn't get lazy and putting more stuff out and try to collaborate when we can. Fortunately, we don't live near each other. He's in Connecticut, I'm in Georgia, but you know, it's, you know, to be talked about on that level with a guy like Holiday. I'm extremely, appreciative of that. And, I think Holiday is, like I said, one of the best wrestlers, one of the best creators, content-wise, on the scene right now, unsigned. I think the sky's the limit for the guy. And we'll see, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with me. I don't know. The phone could ring tomorrow and somebody could say, hey, we want to give you a shot. Or it might not. But at the end of the day, for something like that to happen and to just be talked about on the WWE Champions podcast by a guy I really do respect, it's just like, those are the things that you sit back and you think about and you just say like, wow, that's super, super fucking cool.
Yeah.
So if nothing else ever happens, I'll hold my head up high and just say like that, done some cool shit. Right.
Well, and I got to figure too, right? Like you got like companies that are still growing and looking for like, even like it's not like WWE, AEW right away. Like it's always like TNA or MLW.
Exactly, man.
Like just growing, burgeoning. It puts your name out there. It puts you against a lot of great competitors. Like you talk about Matt Riddle, right? Obviously. And like you talk about another guy who you had a great match with, fucking Killer Cross, the current MLW champion.
Killer Cross, Matt Cardona, Killer Cross, Matt Riddle, getting the opportunity to be in the ring with guys like that. I got matches, the list goes on. Sometimes I forget. I got a match set against Heath Slater. I've worked with before. I get again. Yeah, on Sunday here in Georgia. So, it's Lance Archer in Chicago. I got to work with.
That'll be a fun
Warrior, right? There was a Warrior show.
Warrior, Joey Janela a few weeks back at Fight Factory in Jersey. So it's just like getting to do stuff with Jeff Jarrett. It's not signed, and today has been a really contentious day, especially for like the independents, because we saw what happened with TNA and AEW and Carlos Silva taking taking Slater out of the match with Ricochet and Nemeth out of the match with MJF. And I saw Charles Mason, another guy I have a lot of respect for. I think he's awesome at what he does in the Northeast area. Just says book independent. He just a simple tweet: book independent talent. Like just stop with. If there's going to be a headache, if it's going to be guys who can't work this person, can't work that person, have to win, have to go over, have to do this, just book independent talent. And in this day and age, and I was going to talk about it, but I was like, you know what? I've already been loud enough on Twitter the last few days. I don't want this to be misconstrued, but a lot of independent talent right now, and I put guys like myself, Holiday, Charles Mason, the Joe Alonzos of the world, the man like Derises of the world. I put us all in a category. KJ Orso, another one. I could go on and be here all night, but we're guys who have been able to get our names out there, and quite frankly, our names hold more value than a lot of contracted guys right now. There's a lot of
Very
guys.
True.
There's a lot of guys in NWA, MLW, TNA, AEW who are contracted and they're there, and that's great. And I think they're all talented, nothing against them. But indie companies right now are going to get more out of the guys I mentioned, and even Jack Vaughn, I want to add him in that. They're going to get more out of guys like us than they are out of some of this talent who doesn't wrestle often or isn't on, maybe he's on Ring of Honor once a month, right? And isn't, or either some of them resting on their laurels or don't want to work indies because they're making really good money. And not really getting out there and getting their name out there. And some, maybe, I don't want to speak for anybody. I'm not speaking for anybody here, but some people are just like, hey, I'm contracted. That should just be a meal ticket or a golden ticket. So either it's that or it's just the money's too good. But I going to shows. I see it at merch tables. I've been near individuals who are assigned to these companies, and quite frankly, I get more people at my table than they have get at theirs. Right. So independents are different these days. It's even if you have a TV deal, we still have social media. We have things that we can get people's eyes on us. You don't need television. Do we all want a contract? Do we want to like work for bigger companies? Of course we all do. I'm not going to need I'm not gonna be naive and say like, oh, I just want to be an independent wrestler. I enjoy being an independent wrestler. I would love to be contracted, but at the end of the day, I'm happy what I'm doing. I get to work some awesome people. I get to, be in the ring with, veterans, with guys fresh off TV. I don't have to worry about all the political bullshit. I'm my own guy, and I don't have to worry about just having to sit in catering for months on end and maybe have one match a month that's 3 or 4 minutes long
and being told that we don't have anything for you. Like, yeah,
exactly. And like it's like what I talk about, like going on vacation, right? So like let's say you go to you go to Florida, right? And you go to like a beautiful part of Florida. Let's say Siesta Key, right? The place I've visited, I love it, right? And you go there, or at a buddy of mine. Actually, a better example. I'll say this: my buddy who lives in Hermosa Beach, or he used to. I'm not sure if he does, but my buddy of mine lives in Hermosa Beach, and I went to visit him, and I saw he lived 3 blocks from the beach, Southern California, beautiful, just like gorgeous weather. He was part of the boardwalk with all these great restaurants, and the beach is right there. And I'm just like, man, this is like paradise. I'm like, how that? He's like, it's just where I live at this point. It wears off. He's just like, it becomes home, because now like when you go there on vacation, you're like, this is the best, right? Like I'm having, because you're on vacation and you're thinking like, oh man, like, you have no worries. You don't have work. You're just going to the beach. You're going to the bar. You're having a good time. No pressure. But then when you live there, it's like, well, now you have work. You have bills to pay. You have things to actually have to do. You can't just go to the beach for 4, 5, 6 hours. And so that's what I granted, I've never been signed anywhere, but that's what I believe it feel like. I've talked to guys, and you show up, it just becomes work. It just becomes a job. And you're just sitting there, especially if you're not being used. You're sitting in catering and you're looking around. You're being like, "What am I doing? I'm not getting any better. I'm wasting away." And the pay is the pay, and you're getting some cash. But is that what you want to do? Wrestlers consider themselves. A lot of them consider themselves artists. And do you want to sit there and not do anything, or do you want to go out and show that you can do something? So everyone's different. I'm not speaking for everybody. Some people are okay with that, and that's perfectly fine. I don't judge anybody for what they for what they want to do. But I would love to be signed, but I'm getting to do some cool shit. So being on the indies right now, people can complain and talk about like the indies are dead and all that bullshit.
Indies are hot as
they're not dead. They're hot. They're just different. There's no PWG, and that's okay. Things are changing again. That used to be the super indie type mindset. I think things are moving now towards like more social media, where people want to see more characters, and they want to see people that they can resonate with, instead of just the high flying stuff that now you see really every week on AEW anyway. So now maybe people are like, okay, well, I've seen that now maybe let's do something different.
It seems like the indies kind of do come in waves. Like they go woo, 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 and
of course, like anything, no, it is. It's just flavors of ice cream. Some people, when the indies were hot in like the 2010s, and it was a lot of the PWG stuff, and the CZW and the birth of like GCW and guys doing like crazy stuff, and that was really getting over. And there was definitely a subset of people who probably didn't like that. And now the pendulum's kind of swinging back to the other side, where now the indies now you're seeing more characters, and like all the individuals I mentioned who have great characters and do great promos, the KJ Orsos, the Charles Masons of the world, the Holidays of the world, the Joe Alonzos of the world.
Love Joe Alonzo. He's fucking great.
Oh, he's great.
Alonzo's
he's great.
Awesome.
Fucking hilarious.
I don't want to. And I don't want to kill his gimmick at all. But Joe's become a really good buddy. I think the world of him as well. But exactly, it's not guys doing anything crazy, but it's guys getting you invested because of their promos, because of their personalities. And when KJ put out that list and he had all those names that I mentioned on that list, that was a list of nobody's doing anything like the PWG stuff. None of us are doing crazy stuff, but we're all getting people invested, by being characters, by showing our personality. So I think that's kind of where it's been right now, and that's why some people think it's quote unquote dead, but it's not. It's pretty hot right now, and you see that at indie shows.
If the indies were dead, you wouldn't be going to Mania weekend. You wouldn't have this match with Heath. You wouldn't have. I assume I've seen stuff that you're booked out for July. Like you wouldn't be booking this. I mean, we booked this out 2 months in advance. If you didn't, If the indies were dead, we probably couldn't be doing this. Like,
no, exactly, man. Like I'm getting like, I got Vegas next week, and then after that, I'm getting flown out to San Francisco for big time wrestling. I'm wrestling Satnam Singh again. So that'll be fun. Yeah. So I got that, and then
they don't call it big time for nothing.
No, they don't. Then I come back and I wrestle in North Carolina that Sunday, and then that Friday, Saturday I'm in Florida, and then the week after that I got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I got Maryland, New York, and 2 shows in Massachusetts. So it's it's just like people want to talk all this shit about indies dead because their favorite indie might not be around anymore. And Deadlock, PWG, great places, and there's nothing against them at all. But now other places pop up. Look at Awesome Championship Wrestling, dude, in Poughkeepsie.
Right.
We had 2,000 people at the last show, and I've heard a lot of individuals coming at me. Oh, well, you had the Hardys. They had the Hardys. Yeah, of course, the Hardys are going to add a lot more people, and I get that. I'm not dumb, but a lot of people come to see guys like myself, Richard Holiday. Go down the line, Dante Casanova, Wrecking Ball Legursky, who are on all the shows, and the fans in Poughkeepsie come to love the indie wrestlers just as much as they love, the Crosses and the Santanas and the Hardys of the world. Yes, their lines are a little bit longer. Hardy's line was way longer than my merch line, but it's okay. But still, people loved it. We get a lot of awesome reactions.
With Great Lakes, like we went to Great Lakes Big Show Blizzard Brawl, and we met Ken Anderson. We met.
I love Ken, man. I love Ken.
Kevin. Who was it? Kevin Thorne, but like Al hooked me in. The OVW guys, Tony Evans, I think is very, very talented.
Yep, Tony Evans, Tony Gunn. I don't know if he was there, but
Tony Gunn is great.
I love Tony Gunn.
The Rhodes Brothers,
and now that I've gone to these smaller shows that they do, I built a friendship with some of these guys, and it's like, yeah, I want to go see who's going to be there. Like I met Rikishi at one of these shows, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was more interested in Cal Hero versus Dustin Jackson. Of
course, yeah, Dustin's great too. Dustin's really good too, man. So yeah, but that's because you go to the shows, you go to the merch tables. Obviously, our merch tables, our merch lines aren't as long as the big names of the world, right? So you can spend more time. You can talk to the indie guys, and you can build a relationship, and you can like we did, right? You can talk to us longer, and we can have a convo, and people, and that builds this is exactly how I became a huge fan of Matt Taven in the 2010s. I saw him at a show, and I didn't really know too much about Ring of Honor, but I went to an indie show in Rhode Island, and Matt was the coolest guy. Just, I saw him actually at Wrestlemania a year before in 2014. I went to a show when I was living in Rhode Island, and they call XWA in West Warwick. And it was an awesome show, dude. It was nuts. It was like the Red Dragon guys. It was Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
Nice.
It was the War Raiders. It was Tommaso Ciampa. It was Colt Cabana. The show was insane. It was like
that's a crazy card.
Yeah, it was a crazy card. It was like an indie dream.
I would have loved that shit in the 2010s, dude. That would have been amazing.
It was nuts, right? So, but I saw Taven, and he remembered me, and I was wearing his gimmick shirt because I got one. And we just, chopped it up.
That kind of reminds me of somebody that's maybe sitting right there.
Was that? Yeah, exactly. What? See, there you go.
Oh, so this whole thing.
Yeah, right. Hell yeah, dude. So yeah,
it's good shirt, man. Very comfy.
Isn't it? No, I tell you, I make sure my shirts. I want shirts hugs all the right places. But yeah, so I became friendly with Taven, and now I see him at shows. We're really good buddies now. Now we're just like peers, and I'm getting to wrestle in May 8th. So I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
Since I started wrestling, awesome. I always wanted to wrestle Matt Taven, and
cool.
But that's a perfect example of just someone he was really kind, he was cool, and I always was a fan. And I tell him that to this day, and he just laughs. He's like, I can't believe it. It's such a funny story. He ended up becoming a wrestler, and it was So it's those are the cool things. That's what makes the indies a lot of fun. Those type of stories and building those relationships.
On top of that, I tell people to go to indie shows because you will never know what you're gonna fucking see.
No, you really don't.
When I went the last GLCW show I went to, Jake Lawless from OVW was facing Mike Kirkov. I don't know if you know Mike, but he is a local CBS news anchor around here.
Okay,
great.
And they had a hardcore match, and Kirkov beat Lawless by slamming him into Legos. And I was like,
Of course.
This is the greatest thing like I've ever seen.
Yeah.
My buddy was like that. It was his first show, and he's like, "This is incredible! Like, thank you for bringing me along."
Yes, dude. And I tell that to everybody. My buddies just went to go see me in Maryland, and they said the same thing. They're like, "This is so much fun." I'm like, "I know, you guys like." Everyone thinks wrestling, and it's like, it's probably silly. But then you go to the shows, and of course, if there's some, if there's beers involved and all that, and it makes it a little bit more fun. And I tell them, like, come on, just come to the show. You're gonna have fun. It's gonna be 2.5 hours, hopefully. We don't want the 3.5 hour shows. It's like, and just come and have a good time. Like, just come, have a good time, have a few beers, enjoy it. And most do. They go there and they're like, "This was like so much fun. This was I can't believe it. That was great. When are you coming back?" And it's like, see, it's different. You don't do this. People
how you plant the seed.
You get it.
That's it. So indie shows are great, especially nowadays with like the price of WWE and how expensive it's gotten, and you just can't take families to it. I tell people, go to indie shows. You like people like going to see bands. You like to go see cover bands. You like to go to bars and see bands. You like to go see comedians. Go to indie shows. It's fun. It's not. People look at it sometimes as lowbrow entertainment because you got the people of the world who call them outlaw mud shows, and you get people who think every indie show is like all garbage wrestling and all that stuff. But a lot of people are pleasantly surprised, and they notice like, oh, actually, it's good and it's fun, and you just immerse yourself in it and enjoy it.
Right. Yeah. I think of.
Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was gonna say I was meaning to ask you because we were talking about like you versus like Killer Cross, right? We were talking about a guy who was contracted, and we were talking about like being contracted and how that's kind of the goal. But then when I read this interview, and I can't remember who did it, but like I remember kind of the blurb about Cross particularly because he's been to the E, then he went, and then he came back, and then he left again. But in this last go around, like he's talking about like just like we were talking about like, do I want to sit in catering? Do I want to do this? And there's something about being contracted as the label, right? And everything that kind of comes with being in the WWE or AEW. But if you're not being used, if you're not getting the time and the rust knocked off every now and again, like Cross had that situation, and they weren't going to pay him what he was worth anyways. And then he goes back to the Indies, and they're saying like now he's making more than he's pretty much ever made in his entire career, and he's able to do damn near whatever he wants. And it kind of reminds me of like, it reminds me a bit of like, and I was going to bring up like Austin too, similar situation in WCW when he cut that infamous promo when he's about to jump into ECW, which at the time was very much like the indie, like the super indie of its day, if you want to call it that,
basically
right?
The GCW,
basically. And it's like, it makes me think about like your situation because I know like and I understand like that's the dream of everybody. We talked to Big John Crowley, like a local Brew City Wrestling champion, right? Like the dream is always for anybody to get to the big leagues, right? To get to WCW, AEW, or WCW. What am I saying? Fast forward 25 years.
I wish. Hey,
that big gold belt was something, brother. Yeah, but I mean, just thinking about like that's the goal. But like when you hear stories like Cross's and like you see these other guys, even Cardona when he was on the Indies, like, and now your position, does it make you like seeing these guys, does it make you rethink like maybe there's like a higher ceiling here in the Indies? Maybe there's just something about sticking around that like may be better for a career or?
For sure, man. For sure. And I've thought a lot about this. That's a great question because I thought a lot about this over the past, few months, once I got told no by WWE, and it was devastating for a little bit, but, I just kind of kept at it. And, I did the battle riot with MLW, and I'm a humble guy, but I'll be honest, I got a hell of a pop. I got one of the biggest pops of the night. So I'm going to,
you did. Yeah.
I'm going to
pass you did, brother.
For that. And, I turned down MLW last year, so I don't know if there's any bad blood there, like not wanting to give me more dates. But I couldn't. They gave me a few dates. They offered me a few dates, and I said I could do them all except one. They said, "Well, we need you for all of them." I said, "I can't." I had ACW in Poughkeepsie.
Sure.
I cannot. I can. Like, that's a really good. They've done really well by me. I'm not going to call out of a main event program I'm doing with Holiday. And they said, there's no bad blood. It was all cool with it, what I said, and they were just like, "Hey, well, we're not going to use you at this point." So I said, "It's fine." NWA, I'm not sure. They've never reached out to me, so it is what it is. And all love to them, but I don't need NWA either. If they don't want to use me, that's totally fine on their part. And honestly, it's not even just them. Like I would love to be at TNA. I would love to be at AEW. I'd love that opportunity, but then again, there's always the chance you go there and you sit in catering and you don't do anything, and then you can't work certain indies and you can't work certain people. And now things are just like, it's like, well, what the hell? Like it's not, now it turns into that job again. So, Cross is one of the most fascinating individuals I've ever met in wrestling. Awesome guy, just has has been super, super cool to me, as well as Scarlett. Just an awesome couple. They are like just absolute gems, and I love running into him, talking to him about things. He's got a lot going on. He's not just doing wrestling. He's trying to get into like screenwriting, doing some movies, that type of stuff. So he's brilliant. The guy's a brilliant individual, and I think the sky's the limit for a guy like him too. And he just seems very happy. I ran into Cross when I first met Cross, and I reminded him of this. He didn't remember at the time, but it was 2021, and it was the only time I did extra work at WWE. I can't do extra work for anybody, if you can understand. Too big. They say, so many slots you can fit into. Yeah, I know. It's like you make everyone
shrink them down a little.
Yeah, so you make everyone look small. It's like, then hire me. What the hell? Like, like I was like,
give me a job.
Yeah, right. Like if I make everyone look bad. So yeah, I met Cross, and I could even tell then he was just kind of like, this isn't for me. Like he was just kind of walking around.
Well, in 2021 too, the shit that they were doing with him was just like stupid.
It was all kind of
put
dumb,
him in
right?
that red mask and like took everything that made him Cross away.
Exactly. So that was kind of like that. I could see it then, and just being around him over the past few months on the indies and being on shows with him. I always love running because he's another guy. Yeah, I love running into him. Another guy I consider a peer. We talk every now and then, just over messages. Sometimes not even about wrestling, just about like pop culture stuff that we're both interested in, right? So he's become a good buddy. And he did put me to sleep not too long ago, but it is what it is, right? Water under the bridge, I guess. But
I'm pretty sure he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so it's.
Yeah, no, he can. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw him with those baseball bats.
Yeah, the only two that ever got me was Cross and Riddle. So I think those two that are okay. I'll take it.
Those are two guys that do not fuck with list.
No, Riddle can kick any of our asses. But yeah, no, back to what you were saying. Yeah, exactly. I think there's so much opportunity now on the indies, and wrestling has just become. Everyone just thinks kind of the same way, where it's like, I got to be signed. And then you have like certain people and fan base like, oh, you've never been signed or you haven't. And that's just people talking. Again, like we went over this. People are going to talk. People are going to hate on you. They're going to think that you're a failure because you haven't been signed to WWE, or, your whole career is a joke because TNA hasn't offered you a contract, or AEW hasn't offered you a contract. And you got to understand that there are so many talented people on the indies that are, I will say it, that are more talented than some people that are contracted right now. Not a dig at them, but they're just because they work more. They work more dates. They work more matches. They're building their brand without having to worry about, will my employer like what I post, or is that okay, or are they going to get mad at me? Right? Like where they kind of feel like they're handcuffed. So it's not even their fault. It's just that that's the name of the game. And I already went over kind of saying that they know more name value on the indies right now, or a lot of individuals who are not contracted than more than the ones that they are. So it is, the sky's the limit. I think that right now I'm loving what I'm doing. I don't have anybody telling me, oh, you can't post this, you can't post that. I get to be my own person. I tell everyone what you see is what you get. Ben Bishop is just myself, my real life self turned up to 11. It's not much different. Like it's kind of how Riddle is. It's not much different from his real life persona. And I get to just be me. I get to be me and have some fun, and people resonate with it. I go to these conventions now, and like a cool story that happened at Square Circle Expo. I was just kind of hanging around. Two cool stories, if you don't mind me telling them.
Go for it.
So I was the first one. I was just standing there. I forgot who I was talking to, but I felt the tap on my shoulder. I turned around, and it was Ruby Soho, and she had this like big smile on her face. I was like, "Hi," and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited! I knew you were going to be here, but I'm so excited to meet you." And I was like, "What? You're excited to meet me?" And she was like, "Oh, me and Jeff, Angelo Parker, me and Jeff love your stuff so much. Like we love all your videos. It's so funny. Tribal Keith, the Shindy promoter, all the stuff you do. It's so funny." I was like, "Have we met before?" And I was like, "Yeah, we did, but it was back in like 2021. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal." She's like, "I'm so," and she's just like a sweetheart. And I was like, no, it's all good. And then Angelo Parker came over and he was saying the same thing. He's like, "Dude, it's all such good stuff, man. Like what you're doing is so good. A lot of the boys love it. Like it's really, really good." And so that was cool. And then of course, like running into Kevin Nash, and we become friends at this point, right? Like, and he's my favorite ever. Right. So it's just like, yeah, dude. And I showed him the big Carny Cool, Carny Cool gear, and he popped. He was like, "Dude, I think that's," I was worried. I'm like, "Oh man, he's gonna think I'm like a huge mark." But when I showed him, he was like, "Dude," he's like, "Ben, I know how he talks." Like, "Ben, I really appreciate that, man. That's super cool." He gave me his number. He's like, stay in contact, all this stuff. So, he always makes time. I'll see him at WrestleCon as well. And he said to me, just like, "Man," I told him kind of, with the WWE stuff, he goes, "You know what, man, I think, what your problem might be is you're probably just too smart about this shit. And they don't like that."
Sometimes I feel like that though.
And he says, "You're like me. You're kind of like a dick in a good way." He's like, "But it's like, don't change for anyone." He's like, "You're doing some good shit. It's like, stay positive." And to hear that from a guy that I've literally my whole career I've idolized, that's
gotta be wild.
That's the cool stuff, man. That's the cool stuff. It just tells you like you're doing something right. And whenever I get down about it, I tell myself like, you're going to these things now, and people see you as a peer. You're not just like the young boy wrestler anymore that, it's like, "Hey sir, nice to meet you." It's like people are coming up to me and talking to me. Jeff Jarrett, walk over to him, gives me a big hug. DDP comes over, gives me a big hug. And this isn't because of like I'm on TV and it's a political thing, or they're, it's because I built relationships with them. They like my content. I've done yoga at DDP's house here in Atlanta a ton.
Really?
Right? And yeah, sorry, DDPY. I can't call it yoga anymore. He gets mad at that. The guy's a master marketer. I said it once. He goes, "No, bro, it's DDPY." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sorry, sir." Yeah, so it's like things like that. Brian Clark as well. I was always a fan of Chronic. And we become
very underrated.
Yeah. So it's like things like that, dude. And if I was signed to a big company and I couldn't make my content, these guys wouldn't know who I am, or we wouldn't been able to build a relationship.
Then you would have
because it wouldn't be you.
It wouldn't be me. Yeah, exactly. I would have to go back to that because I see guys that get released from like NXT or AEW, and they haven't been able to work the indies, and they're kind of starting from the ground up. Like, it doesn't, just because you were at the Performance Center for 3-4 years doesn't mean that places are going to come knocking down your door all of a sudden, right? Like, because nobody really knows. Like, you can say you were with WWE, and that's awesome. You got some great training, some of the best, but your brand isn't out there because you haven't been able to.
Your brand can't be WWE. You have to build your own brand.
Exactly. And that's why I love guys like Shiloh Hill. I think he's done a tremendous job. He's been following me for a while now. I've been following him, and I've kind of seen his rise as well. Because when I first started following him, he wasn't really like he hasn't like fleshed it all out yet. And now look at him. Now people love this guy, and for good reason. He's a hell of a character. And he makes you believe in what he is. I don't know about all the dark web stuff that he does. It's kind of odd, but like, hey, you know what? It works. And he's always been cool. I was talking to him today. He was talking about something about counting cards in Vegas. And I said, can I be your moral support? And he goes, "Yeah, sure. But I heard Tribal Keith bought a ticket as well. So you might want to be careful." So he knows, so it's like, we're cool. So just being able to do that type of stuff and resonate with people, build content. I almost consider myself like, I said this to Jack Vaughn at Squared Circle Expo. We had tables next to each other. What a coincidence!
I saw that video.
That was fun. That was a good one. And I said, like, we're kind of just like pro wrestling's Drewski at this point. Like, that's what it is.
That's a great way to put it.
Indie wrestling Drewski, where obviously we're not on his level, but like, it's like we're not contracted anywhere. We don't have like this big company behind us. We've kind of built our brand from the ground up, and we've been able to do that without any backing from anyone, and build it, and creating bits that people want to see, whether it be, he has the thigh slap, Holiday has the signature move, I have the Tribal Keith stuff and the Shindy promoter, and I'm trying to get the sidewalk
6'12", 15% of metric ton.
Without taking any bumps, right? Like, we're just kind of all building, but we have these bits that people like and they want to see, and you got to think of the guys who are able to do that. Like, look at the Danhausens, and are you wearing the shirt? So he's a perfect example of it. The Joe Hendrys,
love Danhausen,
right? He got over without anybody worrying anything about a match of his. Nobody cared, but he got people interested to want to see him wrestle just based on his charisma. Danhausen, same thing. Holiday had a great tweet. He said, because he did a seminar the other day out over in England at PPW, and he said nobody. I don't want to butcher it, but it was along the lines of like, nobody has ever watched somebody wrestle and say, I want to see them talk, but they have seen somebody talk and say, now I want to see them wrestle. And he's dead on.
Exactly.
He's dead on. I had a ton of people say to me at Squared Circle Expo the last couple weekends ago and said, like, I've never seen you wrestle, but I'm so excited. I know you're wrestling Cross tonight. But like, I watch all your videos, and that's fine with me. People might think that's like an insult, and oh, do you ever wrestle? I'm getting that all the time. It's like, yeah, almost every weekend now. But, guess what? Me just putting up clips of me doing moves doesn't pop off as much as me showing my personality, So, because I'm not doing deathmatch
personality is going to grab somebody, and then when they see you wrestle, they're going to be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, and I'm not doing deathmatch stuff. I'm not doing some high-flying crazy stuff that might go viral on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. I'm doing pretty basic big guy stuff, but people love it because I add my own flair to it. I'm able to.
On top of that, the big guy thing is not a thing on the indies. So
it's really not. Yeah, it's kind of
stands out on its own, right? Yeah.
And even now in the WWE and AEW and TNA, there's not really that many big guys anymore.
How many guys over 6'8" right now in both companies? And Lance Archer, he fills himself at 6'8", but we can. I love Lance.
Okay. Is this where we spoil on Lance Archer?
No, yeah, sure, he's 6'8".
Not the Murder Hawk monster.
6'8", shoot height, 6'3". You're like,
Ope-Eh's about 6.
I was gonna say, yeah. They were kind of giving his tail the tape next to Brock, and I'm like,
yeah. So Damian Priest like 6'5". He's like a big, but he's considered like a big guy. I mean, look at him, he's great. But again, like, there's not many. I mean, Satnam Singh, Big Bill, Omos. You don't see these guys wrestle often. Like, they don't. They got Satnam or Omos wrestle.
Omos needs.
They're like attractions.
I've been.
And I get it. I get it. Believe me. Whenever I posted my match with Satnam, it did stupid numbers because of India. So that was great. Like, I get it.
Right. A billion's a billion.
For real. I mean, geez, like, numbers are numbers. I'm excited to work with them again.
Yeah, shit.
They love it.
This in your pocket,
they know. Yeah, Facebook pays out. So I'll take it. Yeah, it's a. But there's not many big guys, and Lance said that in his promo after our match, and when he was just like, there's not any big guys left in wrestling, or they're not making a name for themselves, really, especially tall guys. This is just, there's not many of us, and we went through. I started up in wrestling probably at a weird time for big guys too, because AEW took off and people were more into, all of a sudden everybody wanted the small work rate. Now, that stupid word that doesn't mean anything. You have to cardio, whatever. Like, it's just work rate. So that's what everybody kind of wanted at the time that I started. And nobody was thinking about like big guys, right? Everyone, that was kind of like the taboo, right? Like, oh no, if you're a big guy, you're big and prodding and stupid and slow. And I'm trying not to be. That's why I made up 6'12". I was like, all right, then I'm not a 7-footer. Don't call me 7 feet tall. Like, if you don't want me to 12, I'm different, right? I got that from Kevin Garnett when he came into the league and he said he was 6'13". Like, why do you say that? He's like, because if you call me 7'1", you're going to put me in the post. I'm not going to be able to do what I do. Elbow jump shots, facing up, taking guys off the dribble. He's like, I don't want to be a normal 7-footer. I'm going to be 6'13". So that was always the joke, and that kind of gave me the inspiration for 6'12". But yeah, it's just a thing where, like you said, there's not many big guys on the indies. I think that is partly why a lot of my stuff does stand out. You know, you couple it with the social media, and it helps. It helps because I think some people, it kind of goes back. I think both of you are two perfect examples. It goes back to be like this. You know, when we were watching wrestling, we remember the guys like the Tests and the Takers and the Canes. Like when guys, you know, when Billy Gunn was considered a medium-sized guy, now he's the biggest guy.
Yeah,
you know,
it's wild. Wild.
So it brings you back and being like, okay, we remember like the mobile big men, like the ones I just mentioned, you know, not just the big 7'4" like Khali type guys, you know, but the guys who like Kane who could move, Taker who could move, Test, you know, the guys who covered the ring in seconds, you know, it being big guys who can win, and people are amazed by that. And so that's kind of like, unfortunately, you know, it's gone by the wayside, but I think it's making a little bit of a comeback, and hopefully it makes a comeback in time for me to maybe make a little bit more money doing it. But
there you go. You're ahead of the curve, brother.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to Squared Circle Expo. We were planning on going. We didn't actually make it out there, but I plan to go next year. But like, because I mean, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. I could drive down there, and Indianapolis is a fairly cool city. I put it on my personal account. I think you realized it was me, but you put up a video with Mike O'Malley. And what was that like, fumbling that little experience with the aggro, Craig?
Oh, dude, it was. I kind of
when I got Brandon.
Yeah, so when I always wanted to meet Mike O'Malley. He's a super cool guy. And so when like I just really wanted to get a picture and just send it to Mo, right? That's all I kind of wanted to do is send it to Mo. But he's like, oh, a couple questions. And I'm like, oh, I am not prepared for this shit. So when I did it, I was like, I want to post this video so bad, but what a stupid answer I gave. And that's why I had to make it like I need to make fun of myself because this was so silly. Like, and I think he appreciated it that like I was kind of just like laughing about like
you got flustered because you just were not ready, and it just makes
not prepared. And I'm like, oh my god, what a fucking dork I am, dude. And I was flustered because I was just like starstruck. You know, I don't get that anymore. But like a guy like Mike O'Malley, who I loved on Guts, and then of course Yes Deere, and then the show Heels. Now he's on Abbott. He's like a bit character on Abbott Elementary as well. So I've always been a fan of Mike O'Malley, and I'm definitely missing something. What else was Mike O'Malley in?
He's been in a lot though.
A lot, yeah. So, but I've you know, he's part of my childhood, really. You know, I always watched Guts, and I was always a Mike O'Malley fan. So, but it was great. He was a super cool guy, super chill, down to earth. And yeah, it was funny. I was just kind of like, I was kicking myself after, but I'm like, I can make something out of this. Let me make some chicken salad out of chicken shit here. See what I can do. And
was made.
I had to just, you know, I'm not afraid of poking fun at myself and making fun of myself. So
you can't, I mean,
you got to be able to do it.
In your line of work too, you kind of, and for this too, like we fuck up all the time. You got to be able to make fun of yourself because you shouldn't take yourself so seriously.
No, you never should. And in wrestling, it's a circus, man. It's silly what we do to begin with. Like the whole thing is silly. It's all silly. And like if you come across and you're just taking yourself like you're like Billy Badass of the world, and you're gonna have a horrible time, and it's just not gonna be fun. And you look at guys like Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, right? The guy in locker rooms with them, and they're having a good time, man. Those are two I even forgot to mention. Talk about guys who take advantage of the indies, right? And what they
dude.
So I you know, and they are like that's not a gimmick. They are really like good brothers. Like everyone loves them. Like they just come in a locker room lights up. They're friendly with everybody. They have fun. They make jokes. They rib. It's a really good atmosphere when guys like that are around. So I get why they're everywhere all the time. Not just because they're an awesome tag team, but also because they just everybody like locker room guys. Like they're fun. They're good morale. Yeah,
they're cool shit. They're good hoots. And like I remember, I was speaking of starstruck. Like I remember, you know, because I was like big into New Japan in the 2010s too, right? I was watching it on like some stream or whatever that was based out of Canada, and like then I'm seeing these guys in the Elks Lodge in Waukesha, Wisconsin, at Brew City Wrestling at a table and just standing in front of me. I'm like, well, shit. Like,
Yeah,
and then they were kind enough to just fucking, they were so fucking cool. Like, they were kind enough to get like a video with me where I'm shouting out the boys and the Ope-Eh three-way. And this is coming from like the fucking Good Brothers, like one of the better, my opinion, one of the better tag teams of the last, like, you know, 10, 15 years or so. Like,
they get it, man. They get it. They get the business, man. They want to make money. They want to have fun. You know, that's their thing.
Yeah.
And it was funny at the I was giving Gallo shit because after the show we did in Chicago at the Wrestle League, we had to do a free meet and greet, and he was just like, "What the hell's a free meet and greet?" What's the last? He's like, "Hey," he's like, "Carl, when's the last time we did a free meet and greet?" He's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know."
Right? Yeah, probably a minute. Yeah.
Like, oh God, he's like, I've never heard those. He's like, those words I don't speak anymore. Free meet and greet.
Like,
and it's
I know the word free and I know the word meet and greet, but
they don't go together. They don't go together for him. And we were just cracking up because, you know, just being a Carny, and we get it. And we just all laughing, having a good time. But yeah, those are two guys I always forget to mention. They are inspirations as well, just because of like their humor and, you know, just their shtick, and it's kind of similar to what I do. So I was gonna forget, you know, Gallus runs a show down here, and I always like just forget to hit him up. Just been so busy, but he lives down in Jackson, Georgia, actually where they filmed Stranger Things.
Really?
Town. He lives in that town. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, he's but yeah, I think I'm sure he's obviously going to be in Vegas. I'm sure I'll run into him at some point. So
nice.
So that kind of brings us to the last question. We're getting close to
that dude.
Hour. We only had so WrestleMania weekend, it's really a week and a half at this point. But like on the independent, obviously it's a huge thing for WWE. They run all this stuff. I mean, they're doing fucking Kill Tony, which I wish I could go just to see that, because I'm sure that would be just hilarious to watch some wrestlers try and fumble comedy. But like, as an independent talent, what does this week and weekend mean to you personally?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of twofold, man. It is what you make of it, right? Cardona mentioned it when I put out the video about, you know, the guy who's trying to justify why he's not going to WrestleMania week. And I was that guy at one point, so I was kind of poking fun at myself. But you know, Cardona says if you're not there, you don't care. I think it's important. It's not just for the shows. Like, the shows are one thing, right? Like, people put up, they have seven or eight shows, and I'll be completely honest, some of the shows, they don't draw crazy. You know,
I mean,
like,
I think it was Speedball Mike Daly last year had like 9 matches over 3 days or something. Yeah, it's
Speedball's worked in some major shows. So like I always say, you know, a lot of the GCW shows are the ones that draw very well. You know, obviously Janela's Spring Break's the biggest indie show of the year. And he's done a masterful job at promoting that and making that just an event each year, of course, and also with F.
I mean, I think people are going to that to see Sandman fight the Invisible Man.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, and Brody Lee Jr.
Carny thing that you
that's going to sell the house.
Sandman is like leaning into it so hard to have.
Well, I think people also just want to see Sandman's entrance one more time, right? So you're going to have you're going to have a doing that. That's worth the price of admission alone.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
So you know, it is what you make of it, right? Like you can go there and you can, you know, try to get on shows, and you can like maybe not show up certain places or just have a good time, and that's cool if you just want to. But also you can do some cool stuff. You can network, and that's what I'm planning to do. You know, I got the 2 shows on Wednesday. I don't have any other shows. Tried to get on a few. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm too good for anything. I tried to get on a few, and unfortunately there just weren't any spots because everyone's out there. But I'm going to be at WrestleCon on Thursday, Friday. I'm not staying the whole weekend. I am going to leave on Saturday because I actually have to go back on that next Tuesday for my real job. So for like
a shoot job.
I didn't want to stay in Vegas for 10 days. So
that's fair.
Yeah, no, very fair. So I think, you know, I think it's important for indie guys to get out there and try to, you know, network a little bit, since so many it's in one condensed area and there's so many places running. I'm hopefully going to get out to the big time wrestling show that they, you know, Lori White, who's the promoter, she was super kind, and she said, like, hey, we don't have anything for you on the Vegas show, but you can absolutely come by. And she gave me the booking on May 1st in San Francisco, which is super cool, and there's no hard feelings. Action, same thing. Matt Griffin down there, he just said, hey, we're fully booked up. They're running something where it's called like the Initiative, and there's a bunch of different companies, and they kind of put all their people in the different companies and working against each other. So I get it. There's no hard feelings. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, I didn't get booked, this, that, and the other. I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna make some content, see some people. Just do what you can. Have some fun, because that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a good time. I've never done Mania week before. It's my first one, and you never know what's going to happen. It might be the last one, because I don't know what's happening if they continue to go to Saudi Arabia. So we'll see what happens. Because I'm not going to go there next year. Spoiler. We'll not be doing any indie shows there.
We already booked our flights, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I saw you on a poster out there somewhere. Next to fake Yokozuna. And
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Next to the Brothers of Destruction. I thought you were facing the Brothers of Destruction in a handicap match. What the fuck?
Did you guys see the Brothers of Fun? You guys see the Brothers of Fun Destruction?
Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah, man. I love these guys. They're awesome. But yeah, no, it's I do think that it's going to be a fun few days. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll just see what it's all about. I know it's going to be a mess. I know it's going to be a ton of people. I know it's going to be a big old brother fest, but I'm at the point, like I said, that, now I'm not looked at as kind of that like young little wrestler walking around. Never was little, but none of that young wrestler walking around trying to get people's attention. Now, people come up to me and it's like peers. So I'm proud to be able to build that for myself.
Absolutely. One thing I noticed when being at WrestleCon, both the times that I went when it was the Rumble weekend, and then I went Mania weekend last year. It's a lot of times it seems like it's a big family reunion for the wrestlers.
Yeah. I know what I'm at, and I'm bringing myself to WrestleCon. I don't have like a vendor per se. I know Cardona, that was something he always did. He never worked with vendors. He just paid for the table and, made his money. I'm not going to make as much as Cardona's ever made, but at least for right now. But
don't sell yourself short.
I'll make my money back, and I'm splitting the table with Cha Cha Charlie, so we split it. So that's totally fine. And so I think that but I don't have to worry. The thing when I say like I don't have a vendor, I don't have to worry about sticking at the table. I can go walk around like that. There's nobody that paid for me to go there, so I don't have to. Nobody's my boss that weekend, right? I can do my own thing. So if I want to walk around for 15, 20 minutes and step away from the table, go see some people, I can do that. I don't have to worry about being like, no, you have to stay here because we paid for you. So that's why I like kind of doing my own thing at these conventions.
Absolutely.
Right on.
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you may as well do it yourself. Nobody's gonna do it better.
No, that's it. You're damn right.
Well, Ben, we cannot thank you enough, man.
Of course, and thank you guys for being patient with me. I'm sorry I missed the hour, but this is a blast. Always. No,
it worked out. We were able to put the AEW and our Mania bracket first, and then we got an hour with you. And it's always a good time when we all get together. And soon we will have another beer, and we'll be able to have more than.
I hope so. I'll be back in the Midwest soon. I'm not sure. I don't think I have anything. What do I have? Do I have anything in the Midwest coming up? Lafayette, Indiana.
I don't know how far that is that the South End?
It's probably.
I feel like that's South End, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's closer to Louisville because I got a show. I think Truth Magnum's actually running a show in Louisville.
Nice.
Great dude.
At the end of July, and then I got a show in the next night in Lafayette. So for House of Heat, which seems pretty cool. It seems like a pretty cool.
If you're going to be networking, David Hero is going to be out in Vegas, man. We got to get you to Great Lakes.
I did talk to him at Squared Circle Expo, and he said, like, let's talk. Let's definitely talk. So I think that'll be figured out one day.
David's great dude.
Love it.
We're going to get him on the show soon, too.
He's a good dude. If you talk to him, tell him I said hi. Tell him that motherfucker booked me. Tell him that, too.
I plan it. There's a show they're doing at.
He'll get a kick out of that.
There's a show they're doing at a park near me. And I plan on going. Cal said to come out so we could have some beers because every time he has a show, he's like, I got to get going. Like, I got to go drive back to Louisville. Like, he's just on the road constantly. But like, Cal's like, no, you come to this one, we're going to have some beers. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
that's awesome.
Like I said, man, can't thank you enough.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. All the best. Have a great night. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peace out, brother. Be seeing you around.
Absolutely.
Later.
All right. And
cool.
We didn't really have too much else. That about does it for the show, unless you had anything you had to shout out before we head home.
No, that was better late than never. That was a good time. Always love seeing Big Ben. Next week, we are going to be looking at Mania previews already. I mean, it's weird we say already because it's a late Mania, but we're coming up.
It's the second straight late Mania. I'm sure Saudi Mania is going to be like July.
Yeah, at this rate, if it happens at all, right? But
we'll see. You never know.
But we got our boy Jimmy from the Q, Pierce. It looks like you've been kind of grooming up the stash. I'm outnumbered here. I might have to do something about it.
I wanted to change it up, and I think right now the stash and the hair, it works. So
he'll feel very at home. He'll be very welcomed, I'm sure.
But we'll have Jimmy on next week. Week after that, we got Pluggo coming on. Maybe Donnie will join us for an episode. We're trying to get that figured out because he is a real person. Pluggo Wells,
very real.
But as always, what's
going on there in Indiana?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's only the Indiana guys that don't believe it.
Yeah, weird. Something in the water. Damn Hoosiers. Anyway,
this has been your favorite podcast saying thanks as always for stopping to the Ope-Eh 3-Way. Have a beer on us. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.